虫沼
Yo, what is good, ladies and gentlemen? Gonna shoot in this video. We're gonna be talking about the best non-special Shinobi for the Sam number 21. And before we get into that list, a huge list, actually, we're gonna be talking about almost every possibility for you to use in this Sam. Because seriously, the reward of Darwin's new ultimate looks pretty awesome and would help him a lot if you want to use him in attack mission as a main character. So let's get into the first into the possibilities of you using the special Shinobi without their ultimates, because not everyone is fortunate enough to get the ultimates this Sam. However, you can still use these characters with other jutsu that they have. For example, Darwin, you can use his Oblique Slice and the Black Panther to do a lot of damage, and you can get between 300 and 400,000 per game with just his jutsu. And for Killer Bee, which is something that I forgot to mention, or I didn't actually know about when I made the special Shinobi video, you can actually use his Ink Clone from his old kit, which is, by the way, a card that you can get from a ticket summon for free. You can actually use it to do a lot of damage. At level 6, you can do around 800 to 1 million damage with just using this card without anything else. You don't have to use the old or the new ultimate for Killer Bee, you just need that card. And at the end of the day, you're going to be able to get between 300 also to 400, if not even 500,000 damage. Sorry, 500,000 points per game. So yeah, Killer Bee and Darui are possible to be used without their ultimates to do some decent damage and of course get points out of that. Alright, now let's get into the list of the best non-special Shinobi, and if I miss anything, please let me know in the comment section below that there is one character that you guys are using and you're doing great amount of damage and getting a lot of points with it to help the other players to actually grind the Sam as well. So let's get started. And by the way, it's not in a ranking, so it's not what I'm gonna say first is actually the best or whatever, but the first 10 characters in general are really good to use, and you can just basically try them all and find the best character for you. So we're starting off with my personal favorite of this Sam, which is Orochimaru, with only his new ultimate, which is amazing. By the way, I got his new ultimate from a very random banner. I can't even remember which banner that was, but the ultimate is insane. It does a lot of damage. It hits the multiple parts of the Sam boss, and even if the Sam boss moves more, he gets hit even more. So it's crazy. He can, like, mine is only level 1, and it does between 700 to 900,000 damage per game, per hit, and that means around 4 million damage per game. That's almost 400,000 points per game as well. So that's just crazy, you know. It's almost the same damage you basically are doing with a special Shinobi without their ultimates. So Orochimaru with his new ultimate is just insane, and you guys, if you have his ultimate, definitely try to max him out, because he is doing great versus these Sam bosses that actually have multiple parts in general. Next up, we have Kabuto, and he's not necessarily the second best character here, but I decided to add him there since he's kind of similar to Orochimaru. His ultimate, which is only going to be used, by the way, you don't have to use the 4-star because the 4-star is resisted. You only need to use the ultimate and as many attack stackers as possible, just like Orochimaru, of course, and every character we're going to be talking about here. Basically, you want to use his ultimate, and his ultimate has that effect where the explosion just stays in the map for around 1 or 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds, and in that period of time, if the Sam boss moves within the range, every part of the Sam boss gets hit with it. So it does a lot of damage, and you can use it, well, 4 times per game, so you can get a lot of points, maybe around 300,000 per game. So that's Kabuto. Next up, we have supposedly the second best, or one of the top 3 characters that are basically being used this Sam, which is Itachi version 2 with his Amaterasu ultimate, the new ultimate he got from his Riket, plus the Amaterasu Jutsu and the Fire Style Jutsu. The Amaterasu ultimate, of course, debuffs the enemy with almost 90% of defense debuff, and then you can do extra damage with the Amaterasu and the Fire Style, either the Fire Style, the old or the new one. Of course, the new one is better because it has the damage with time effect, and you can use the damage with time effect to do decent damage without actually worrying about the damage you deal or the attack you have. Next, we have one also of the best 3 characters in this Sam, which is Sasori. With his new ultimate, the 100 Puppets ultimate, it's a 2-minute ultimate, but during the time you're actually waiting for your ultimate to come back, and you can only use it twice, you can use the Scattered Showers, which is another shotgun attack that can be used in the Sam. If you have a defense debuffer in your game, you will most likely finish the Sam boss within just 1 minute or even less. So the Scattered Showers is pretty much the main way to do damage, or if you have the 100 Puppets ultimate at high level, I guess that would be the better option to have the kunai for. So Sasori is definitely in the top 3. Next we have Itachi version 1 with a similar shotgun attack, which is the Shurikens. The Shurikens are Manipulate Nature, and by the way, I forgot to mention the Manipulate got weakened by 25% compared to 15% for release, and Impact is the least favorable one with only 10%. So anything with Manipulate we're going to be talking about here is basically doing a lot of damage. So Itachi version 1 with his Shurikens and the Megaki Sharingan for the DOT, and of course the Asuka Beats is a release ultimate, so it does extra damage there. So you want to focus on the Shurikens, and if you have a defense buffer, of course you will be doing a lot of damage, the same as Sasori. Next up, we have Adult Sasuke, which is one of the top 5, maybe not in the top 3. It all depends, of course, on how your ultimate level looks like. So his new ultimate, the 2-minute ultimate, the Planetary Devastation, does 5 times the damage. Is Impact Nature, and Impact is not the best nature this Sam. However, you can also do debuff the enemy's defense with the Inferno style Jitsu from his old kit, and then use the Shurikens from the new kit to actually do a lot of damage because the Shurikens are Manipulate Nature. Next up, we have Niji. Now his ultimate is Impact Nature, and it's pretty much similar to Orochimaru's ultimate because it can hit multiple parts of the Sam boss. However, Impact is not as good as Manipulate, as I mentioned, and you can still use it to do a lot of damage. You have to use the Mountain Crusher at the beginning to weaken the enemy's Impact Nature even more, so it goes from 10% to 20%, and then you basically just end up with a lot of damage with Niji's ultimates. As for the next character, we have Might Guy. Might Guy, with either his 6th gate or the 7th gate, gets a lot of attack buff, plus he can use any of his 2 ultimates. Of course, the old ultimate is better, and as I always say, a lot of people have this ultimate at high level. This ultimate you've seen right now is level 8, so it will do a lot of damage. It's Release Nature, by the way, so we need the Greek kunai for that, and you can use it, I believe, 6 times, so you can end up with around 300,000 points per game. Then we have Tsunade, which is also a Release Nature ultimate, with her new ultimate, of course, not the bugged ultimate that ruined the Sam number 17, but yeah, her new ultimate is Release Nature and does a lot of damage. It's the 2-minute ultimate. You can weaken the Sam boss's Release Nature even more with one of her new Jitsu, and then you can actually use one of her that Jitsu over and over again to do extra damage. But the main damage is, of course, done with the new ultimate that hits the ground and goes like everywhere. Then we have someone that is similar to Tsunade, and he's also a legendary Sannin. Of course, all the 3 legendary Sannins are in the list today. So we have Jiraiya, and with Jiraiya, we're starting off the DOT team. We already talked about Itachi version 1 and Itachi version 2 with their damage over time effect, but we have 4 more characters with damage over time effect for new players that don't have that many stat cards for attack, or cannot do damage with their ultimates anyway, but the damage effect is a guaranteed damage you can always do. So Jiraiya with his new ultimate, the huge Rasengan that does 5 times the damage, plus the DOT from, I think, the Toad Lava or whatever the name was. Anyway, that attack has damage with time effect and you can use it. Then we have Hirozen Sarutobi from the last time, if you guys remember him. His new ultimate has the damage return effect. It's also a Release Nature ultimate. It has more than the standard damage. I think it was like 1.75, something like that. And he has also the Fire Style Jutsu. You can use the Fire Style Jutsu, the Release Nature from his old kit, to do damage return effect as well. We have also Shisui, which is a really good option. Maybe not as great as the top 10, or maybe he is in the top 10. I can't really tell how many characters we talked about so far. But yeah, his old kit basically is what you want to use. I mean, until now, I'm telling you, Shisui's old kit is just the best for anything in the game. The old kit with his old ultimate, the manipulate nature, Kotomo Tsukami, and any of his jutsu, basically, I mean, the kunai or the double flash can deal extra damage with an effect. So yeah, Shisui is there as well. Hidan with his new ultimate is, I believe, manipulate nature. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it's useful for the Sam, and he has damage without effect in one of his jutsu. It's not showcased here, but if you have that jutsu, it has damage without effect, and you can deal extra damage with the DOT there. Then we have characters that are less useful than the characters we have just mentioned, like Tobirama and Hashirama. So Tobirama with his ultimate, only his ultimate of course, can do multiple hits. It has 4 hits per ultimate, and you can use it 4 times per game. You would be lucky, of course, if the Sam boss moves within the range. The same thing for Mitsuki, by the way. Mitsuki in Mitsuki's new ultimate is a 2-minute ultimate. However, you're gonna be really annoyed, waiting for that ultimate to come back. The same thing for Hashirama, except that Hashirama has something that can deal extra damage, which is the Wooden Dragon, and it's manipulate nature. So you might as well have something to play with while you wait for your ultimate to come back 2 minutes later. Then we have original Sasuke, which is something similar to Tobirama. His ultimate has double the damage, and you can use it every 60 seconds. And yeah, basically you're not going to be using anything else from his kit, just like Tobirama. You're basically using the Chidori Spear and then waiting for it to come back, and there you go. The same thing for original Naruto, by the way. He has the 2K Barrage. It does 3 times the damage. It's impact nature, and you gotta be doing the same thing. Use your ultimate, wait for it to come back. Except that I believe his cooldown is even lower than the other two, the Tobirama and Sasuke. So that's basically the middle class, I would say, the middle characters they can use. From here, it will go down to characters that can only do around 100,000 points per game. So we're starting off with 2 Narutos. We have Hokage Naruto with his 5K Barrage and the Rasengan Barrage. You're going to be using the 5K Barrage mainly to debuff the enemy's defense, and it does also damage because it's impact nature. Then you're using the Rasengan Barrage because of the release nature in it, and of course of the huge damage it does. It's not so huge, but it's well balanced. It can do some decent damage there. Then we have KLM Naruto with his full kit. KLM Naruto is pretty decent. His ultimate is release as well, and can hit the Sam boss wherever it is. You can never mess with it. And yeah, you have the Kurama Bite, which is manipulate. You have the other Rasengan that basically makes the Sam boss even weaker to the release nature, so you might as well use it before using the ultimate. And of course you have the invincibility to help yourself survive, of course. Then you have Bane and Sakura. Now let's talk about Bane. Bane is a little bit better than Sakura. You have 2 ultimates for him. I would say the new one is better because it's manipulate nature compared to the Almighty Bush ultimate. It's impact nature. Then you can use the Universal Ball and the Summoning Jutsu to do extra damage. The Summoning Jutsu is manipulate, and the Universal Ball basically debuffs the enemy's defense. And the problem here is you have some bad animations that basically leaves you still for a while, and you can actually get hit and killed. Then we can talk now about Sakura, which has the same problem. You have 2 ultimates for her. Both of them are impact nature. You can use any of them. Then you have the Summoning Jutsu and the Heal Drop to do extra damage. The Summoning Jutsu basically debuffs the enemy's defense. Then we get into the free characters that we got their ultimates from the Sam. They might actually be better than Bane and Sakura and the other Narutos we just talked about. We have Temari with her ultimate. If you decided to level her ultimate up to, I don't know, maybe 8 or whatever, you can actually do more damage than the 4 characters we just mentioned. And level 1 is still does a lot of damage. You can actually hit multiple parts of the Sam boss because it stays in the map for a while. We also have Shino, which you have to be lucky with because his ultimate stays in the map for a long time, and the damage is divided over all of the hits, the 15 hits he does. So you're gonna have to make sure the Sam boss doesn't leave that spot where the insects are. and he has also two jutsu that basically can do extra damage from far away. You don't have to really to clash with the sand boss there. You also have original Boruto with his ultimate, the Boruto Stream. You can use it along with one of his old jutsu. Basically, both of them are manipulate nature, I believe. So yeah, pretty decent. Not as much, not as good as Timari and Shino would say. But then we have the last character, which is Azuma. I'm not showcasing him anyway, but he is a character that basically doesn't get resisted because of his ultimate being lunged, but it never gets resisted. It's just like Darui's ultimate, just like Killer Bee's old ultimate, just like I forgot my guy's new ultimates. Yeah, and he has also the new 4-star that debuffs the enemy's defense. With that, we're basically ending this list. If you guys have any other options that I have just forgotten to mention here, please let me know in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. That was a lot of talking. Well, that was I actually recorded this in one sitting. That's just amazing. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.